Hey y'all, I don't know if you caught my last blog post or not, but it was on my farmhouse style room refresh that I did in my living room. And one of the projects that I did for that big project of the room refresh was a framed embroidery hoop wreath, and I liked that so much that I decided to make that the focus of this week's post and show you just a quick tutorial for how I made that for only a few dollars. Now, the one that I did for my living room refresh is a little bit different. I turned the frame differently, and it was made from an empty frame that I already had on hand and some things. But this one, I decided to challenge myself to spend as little as possible. And the day I decided to go to the thrift store, I had $11 in my wallet in cash, and I decided that I would not spend more than the $11 that I had. So anyway, I went to the thrift store and I found a frame. It was actually a picture. It was really rustic and something that probably I would have loved in the 80s or 90s, but not really the style that I'm going for right now. But I painted it, and that just kind of perked it up and brought it to life. And here's the frame that we're going to be using for the project. It was just really dark, and I did it a lot like I did the frame for the living room refresh, just using some spray paint. But I just did this one a little lighter, and you can see there's some spots that are just a little bit imperfect, and I think that makes it look more rustic, and I just really like the way that turned out. But the first step in this project is going to be to prepare your embroidery hoop. Now, my hoop, I got a set of like 6 of these at a yard sale for $1. They're just really inexpensive, even if you buy them new. But we're going to be putting a strip of burlap through there. So that's going to be the first thing I do. I'm just going to lay my hoop out, and I don't know if you can really see with the angle of the camera, but I'll show you in just a second. I'm going to lay that down and just secure it with the other piece of my hoop. And if it's not going to be tight enough, I may decide to use just a little bit of hot glue to make sure well, it may work if I tighten the pin. I think that's going to be okay. But if you see that it's not going to work, just, feel free to put a little dot of hot glue just right there on the edge of that inside frame, and I think that's going to get you where you want to be. I think I will just go ahead and do that right quick though, just to make sure that it stays as tight as we would like for this project. So I've got my my hot glue gun down here. I'm still talking about my heat gun that I got for Christmas, y'all. I was so excited. My husband actually asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and that's what I asked for, and he got it for me, and I've been using it for my alcohol ink tumblers, and I'm going to do a tutorial on that sometime soon. But anyway, you just want to glue that a little bit just to make sure that it stays tight. Can y'all kind of see how I did that? Just kind of push your piece down like that, and then for the other side I'll just go back and do the same thing. Just a little tiny bit of hot glue. You don't really need that much because the frame's going to hold it pretty much as tight as what you're going to be needing it. But just on the inside of the frame there, just push the burlap down there and make sure it catches on that glue, and I think you're going to be good there. Well, maybe just a little bit more. Okay, and once you have done that, you're going to be ready for your word that's going to go in the middle. Let me throw that little string away. For this one, for right now, we're going to use this welcome that I found at the Dollar Tree last year. Eventually, I think I'm going to go back and cut some more words out with my Cricut, just using scrapbook paper, because I think that's going to do fine too. And that way, you can interchange them without spending any money. You could cut like a hello and a welcome and a harvest and a love or whatever you wanted to do. Blessed is the one that I used in my living room refresh. But just take that and glue it down with just a tiny bit of hot glue. Like I said, you could also, especially with the little bit larger letters, like I'm planning on doing with my Cricut, you could use Velcro, no problem with that, because it's going to be super light, and that way you could just change out with the seasons or just with what you're feeling like at the moment. So be real careful with this step though, because that hot glue does heat that metal up pretty hot. But just get that secured, and then this is what we're looking like so far. Now I thought about going back to the store and getting a nice little piece of lamb's ear or maybe some boxwood or something like that. But again, I was trying not to spend much money, and so I thought about the decorations that I already had packed up that I wasn't using, and I found this big white flower, and I thought, that big white flower just might be the perfect thing for this wreath. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to attach it like this using some hot glue and some twine, and I think that's going to give us a cute look. So I wish I had that angled so you could see it better. But I'm just going to just kind of turn the stem to where it's aligned with the top of the welcome there, and then I'm going to use just a little bit of twine to tie that. I'm cutting a long piece, but it's not probably going to take that much. I'm just using that to secure it. And then at the bottom, we're going to wrap it around some more and just give it a little bit more of that rustic look we're going for. Now I'm tying this in the front right now, but then I'm going to turn it and complete the tie on the back so that it doesn't show all that much on this end. But then for the other end, I am going to want it to show more, and so we're going to wrap it, and I'll show you what I'm doing with that in just a second. So you can just trim those ends, and there you've got it secured on the back that way. So then, well, it slipped down a little bit, but that's no problem. You can scoot it back up. Then I'm just going to take the end that's left and take my twine, and I'm not going to cut it this time until I have as much as I want. I am going to take just a little dot of hot glue and put right there where I want to start the twine, just to kind of hold it in place till we get it going good. And I'm just dropping that down in there. Well, it come undone. Things like that happen sometimes. It's okay. So then we're just going to take it, and you know what, I think I am going to have to cut it after all. Don't you just love when things don't work out quite how you thought they would? That's life, huh? So anyway, I cut it, and then I'm just going to take it, and we're going to wrap this end with twine. Well, it's getting tangled up in my leaves. And okay, here we go. And really, this is just one way you can do this. You could totally do it with all hot glue or whatever. I'm just trying to try some different things to see what I like best, honestly. And you can do the same. Find what works for you. What I like is not necessarily going to be the thing that you like the best, and also, you might come up with something that looks even better than what I've done. because I am no expert. I just like to try things. And so we're just gonna get that and then secure it with, again, just a dab of hot glue. If I can find my glue gun. My goodness, the thing keeps running away from me. Alright, so then once you have that done, you're probably going to want to go back over it if you do the twine method, just to cover all that right there. See, I've just barely got it secured. In the interest of time, I'm just going to leave that and come back and do it later. And I will post a picture of the finished, but I'll just leave it like that. But then, like I said, just go back over that and fill in all the little gaps and just make it look real cute. But the next step is going to be to secure your hook to the frame. And so to do that, you're just going to need to measure to the center. You can see that mark. I just measured that and marked it with a pencil at the center. It's about 9.5 inches. And so then you're going to take your other piece of burlap, and this is just some stuff that I had already on hand, and your glue gun, and just run a little strip of glue where you want your ribbon to be, right there in the center, and just glue her down. And then once you've done that, just take your hook and you're going to just run the end of the burlap through your embroidery hook and just get it how you want it. Get everything kind of straightened out there, and then just bring that back over and glue it and trim it. And I'm just trying to go fast there, but you can go back and neaten the back of that up if it bothers you. But that's pretty much it. It's not hanging real straight, is it? But that is the framed embroidery hook wreath. And once you're done, like I said, you can go back and you can put some more twine there to make it look real cute. But I'm digging these frames and hope this has given you kind of an idea. And again, I'm going to post another picture when I have it all tidied up with the loose ends trimmed and everything tacked down a little bit better. I was just trying to save time and show you the basic steps of how I did this. And I also think, you know, if you wanted to cut your letters with the Cricut a little bit bigger, that would even probably work better than my little 10 letters have. But just using things I had on hand and the frame that I got at the thrift store, that ended up being only $3. So for a frame that only cost $3, that turned out to be a pretty cute project, I thought. So I hope you'll catch this blog post at muchskinthemaking.com on the details of making this framed embroidery hoop wreath, and also go back and check out my farmhouse style living room refresh. I love it when y'all read this stuff, and I love it when you comment, and really I just love my readers, and I appreciate y'all so much. And I will be back next time with some other kind of craft project. I'm not sure what yet, but I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.